Wave Crooks. I am the director, or one of the directors of SeaGrown, which is a pretty new offshore farming company based in Scarborough on the Yorkshire coast. We set the company up in 2018, myself and my partner Laura, just the two of us to start with. We spent the first year, most of 2018, doing desk-based research into why on earth anybody might want to farm seaweed. Why is it so useful? What's the good thing about, what are the good things, many good things actually, about ocean farming? And we learned a lot in that first year, and we decided it's definitely the thing for us. I am a professional seafarer and a professional diver, so I can handle all the marine operations side of the house for SeaGrown, all the boats, ships operations and any subsea stuff. And Laura is a marine scientist. She's a professor of marine science, so she looks after she's the brains of the outfit, basically. She looks after the scientific side of the house, and there's a very, we need a firm scientific base to do this.
So thank you for introducing SeaGrown. Tell us a little about where you are currently.
So we started the company in 2018, did a load of research, and then we started to set up properly in 2019 and 20. We've got lots of capital assets that we needed to procure: boats, cranes, winches. We did that quite early on, and now we're at the stage where we're able to start deploying our equipment in the sea and start to grow some seaweed in earnest. So that's where we are today.
Describe some of the circular or sustainable practices that SeaGrown has developed.
Well, seaweed farming is what we do, and seaweed farming is in itself entirely sustainable and circular. So the whole of our business really is underpinned by sustainability and circular practice. We do, of course, follow the usual procedures of recycling. We use compostable packaging for our products. We use local suppliers to keep our carbon footprint to an absolute minimum for anything that we're actually procuring or selling on. And we follow all of the environmental legislation as regards operating boats at sea, pollution, contamination, anything like that. We're very strong on that, and nothing at all goes over the side into the water from any of our vessels. But really, the bigger part of why we are sustainable is the seaweed farming bit. We're producing a really wonderful and versatile crop in water that would otherwise be doing absolutely nothing. There is no competition in terms of water use for the water that we're using. And we're able to deliver a crop of really useful biomass, which is useful in many different sectors to allow other industrial sectors to increase their own circularity and their own sustainability. So we can produce this from nothing, and we can't measure this at the moment, but I would be amazed if our carbon footprint wasn't actually negative, because the crop that we're producing is absorbing a lot of carbon from the atmosphere. And we're underpinned entirely by sustainability, because we're not taking anything out of the ocean that we didn't already put there ourselves as seed. So yeah, it's not a particular sustainable practice, it's that the whole business is underpinned by sustainability in SeaGrown's case.
What advice do you have for businesses that would like to introduce circular economy practices to their own business model?
Everybody knows that sustainability and circularity are very important. And I think every business is able to do its bit. SeaGrown is able to, in a quite obvious way, contribute to the sustainability, to net zero, to the circular economy. But I realise it's not so easy for everybody to do that. But I'm a big believer in this policy of the aggregation of small gains. And I think that if everybody just did everything they do 1% better in terms of sustainability and circularity, just a tiny amount for each aspect of each business, will add together into a huge impact. And I think between us, SMEs can make a huge dent in this effort that we need to put in to get the UK to net zero by 2050. So I would advocate that definitely, just do everything you do slightly better. But also there's lots of expertise out there. In our case, York and North Yorkshire, the LEP, the Local Enterprise Partnership, has got a lot to offer. They run an organisation called Circular Yorkshire. They can offer contacts, can offer advice, guidance, best practice, training for staff, etc. It's a really good resource, and I would advocate anybody in our area to use Circular Yorkshire. Or in other areas, I'm sure the other LEPs will be doing similar things, similar initiatives. Also, the local authority, our local authority in Scarborough Borough Council, are very keen on achieving carbon neutrality. and they've got lots and lots of policies, advice and guidance available also. So you're not on your own with this. Do everything you do slightly better, get advice, it's free advice, free training, and I think we can all contribute. So that's what I would advise any other business who's considering contributing to the sustainable circular economy to do.
Finally, where would you like to see SeaGrown positioned in the future?
Well, within about 5 years, let's say, we're hoping to be fully established offshore. It's a very long and quite arduous, actually, process to get an offshore farm established. It's a hostile environment, so we've got to tailor what we're doing offshore to be able to survive the conditions and also to flourish and grow our seaweed and eventually our shellfish too. So within 5 years, I'd like to see us established at full commercial scale. And that means that we're able to produce enough seaweed to satisfy the industrial sectors that do have a demand for seaweed. And there would be sectors such as biochemicals, biodegradable plastics, pharma, cosmetics, carbon drawdown, etc. I think we'd like to be able to produce enough seaweed to satisfy the demand from those sectors, but also to offer seaweed farming as an alternative means of offsetting carbon from other businesses in the area who need to mitigate their carbon footprint. I'd very much like SeaGrown to be able to partner with other small businesses that don't have any other means of doing this and allow them to offset their carbon emissions and really push towards this net zero 2050. I think SeaGrown's got a very strong part to play in that with the seaweed farming that we're able to achieve, and I'd like to be able to offer the benefit of that to other businesses within 5 years, if possible.